Hi there, I'm Chris Rachel Oslin with the Austin Post. We are here at Capital Factory talking to local startups in Austin. This is Blake from 60 Seconds. Blake, tell us a little bit about what 60 Seconds does.
Sure. We take content that's proven, established, it's worked, and we turn it into snackable games.
Mm-hmm. So people are eating their phones, is what you're telling us.
They're eating their phones. No, we believe, in the world of Twitter, everything's 140 characters or less. Can we take a book and give it to you in the same snackable portions, but then simultaneously putting it into a game format?
So what does that actually mean in real life? How would that work if you're looking at
so
it?
for example, our first product we launched 50 days ago. We partnered with a best-selling author on pregnancy, fatherhood, from that angle. So we took his book, The Expectant Father, and turned it into a game related to the content of his book. So now if you're waiting in line at Whole Foods, you can get a couple questions, learn facts that your wife wants you to know. It's just not you sitting on a couch falling asleep.
Yeah. No, that actually sounds like a really good idea. There's lots of content that people are reluctant to actually read all the way through, but if you can get it to them in those little bites, it might soak in a little bit better. Why do you think it is that gamification has taken off the way that it has? Because it used to be like, okay, you need to learn something, it's fine, you're just going to sit there, you're going to study it, you're going to read it, you're going to get it done. Is it just that people have shorter attention spans, or?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, we see gamification now in all sorts of different... Amazon uses game mechanics all the time with the feedback loops that they're closing. Facebook and the ability to like something is another. Really, it's just a game mechanic. So we're finally getting to this point, I think, where content or something that's proven now mirrors well and pairs well with game concepts, and we have technology to easily do it. Games have been around since BC. I mean, that's nothing new. So now it's how do you bake into those concepts into something you might already be doing.
That makes sense. So with founding the company, most people have a moment of, if I'd known this, I don't know if I would have gone through with it. Was there an if moment like that for you?
Oh, there's one every day.
Well, what does that
But then
if
there's
mean?
the other side too. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I was in management consulting for 6 years, and that was tough, but that was easy in hindsight.
So when you say game mechanics, what does that really mean? Because people hear that a lot, but a quiz, what else is a game mechanic?
Sure. And there's lots of principles. Some of my favorite are this progression of difficulty. The idea that as you do something, you get better at it. So how do you make the challenge also move just that much farther? How does the carrot maybe get a little bit further away as you go? Like as you go through Tetris or one of these classic games, you get better, but then as you'll see, the difficulty mirrors that your progression well. It gets you close to this concept called flow, which is a psychological concept, sort of like in the zone. That's one that's really hard to harness and use, but once you can do it, you can have a very effective game. But then feedback loops.
See, that's one of the areas where I feel like a lot of people are using gamification poorly, like Foursquare. It was very popular for about 10 minutes. I still have people asking to join me on Foursquare, but once you become mayor of your local coffee shop, there's not really much to do there.
Right, until, I guess in their defense a little bit, someone else comes in and becomes mayor.
Yeah.
So there is that competition layer and that social layer too, which games
but that's
can
one of
do
the
well.
areas I think that a lot of people, like, we need something more to gamification than just hitting likes and just
totally.
just showing up at a place. So quizzes, time, what other type of mechanics would you say?
Really, going back to what I was saying, this just difficulty, the progression of difficulty is so important to do. How do you harness that well? Because it's not the same for every player. So building that in a scalable way is not easy, but if it were easy...
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that Angry Birds,
they do it
brilliantly.
Extremely well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, just that example, that was Rovio's 32nd or 33rd app. So you have people that did it so well, and it just takes time to get there.
Yeah. So if in the founding of your company you had a blooper reel that you could look back at, what would be the most interesting part of your blooper reel?
Oh, man. So the company was founded under a whole different idea. I had a pen on paper to sign a $40,000 development contract with an outsourced developer that I stopped signing my name and took a step back.
You literally were physically signing and stopped and backed up.
The pen was on paper, pulled it back and said, I should go talk to some more people before I do this.
Wow.
Went out and applied a lot of the lean startup principles to that idea, quickly invalidated it.
Wow. So that was a smart move to stop that signature.
Yes. Third-party perspective is always good, especially when it's critical. Everyone can. That's another great thing that I've learned. Lots of people will tell you have a brilliant, awesome idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to hear.
Yeah.
It doesn't get you anywhere. It gets you nowhere. unless they're backing that up with
Yeah.
a check or 10,000 users. It's not giving you anything.
Yeah.
So go get the tough feedback.
That's actually really good advice, is go get the tough feedback.
Yeah. And then know those people that do consistently give you tough feedback.